So, welcome to our place.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's an honor to have an artist who's, you've lived the time, you've tested the time, back-to-back consistency, releases of your music, struck the best of the brand ambassadorial deals. I mean, the list could just go endless and on and on and on. And this is what we define as an artist who has hit the word that he himself has coined out of his brand, that is success. So success. So welcome to our studio, bro, and congratulations to everything.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Guys, one more time.
I don't even know why we are welcoming landlord. If you landlord for welcome,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like, I mean, you've been around, but first off, even before we just jump into talking about the song and the jams, I just want to, where are you coming from? I don't mean home though. I mean, in just a couple of days back or weeks back, have you been around out of the country?
Yes, I was in Dubai. Yes, I was in Dubai.
Oh yeah, we saw the lemon green drip.
Okay, so is that why?
Yes.
Miss G, they do research.
I was in Dubai for All Africa Festival. So I was introduced by a friend that I know. He took me to Rwanda for one concert that I was blown away. It wasn't a concert; it was like a fundraising type of corporate settings. And since then, I've been keeping up with him, and I trust him on the stuff that he wants to put me on, because I think he's a Ghanaian in a great position that wants to support his people. So when he said this gig was going on, it wasn't really about business. It's just the fact that it was him. I had to pull up, and so that's where I was.
What's the importance of sometimes jumping on some of these international festivals and playing them?
I think it's very necessary, because you want your music to go out there. So any opportunity that you can get a chance to perform to a crowd that you're not used to, I think you should take advantage of it. Yes.
I like that bit, a crowd that you're not used to.
Yes.
I imagine standing on stage and performing to an audience, and sometimes the difficulty of an artist, the challenge is when the crowd is somewhat staring at you.
But that's how I came up, if you remember.
Yeah.
I had to always impress the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I came as a battle MC, a freestyle person. So I was used to the fact that I want to get your attention when you don't know me.
Yeah.
So I've been used to that coming up. And I think it's a good upbringing, especially for a rapper. In general, for an artist, it would be good, because now you're prepared to start from scratch every second.
Yeah.
At Dom FM, I was supposed to prepare every week for every Saturday, literally.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to get...
I can imagine, you have to write, the whole week we feel you're writing.
So I still find joy in finding new people that I see. You guys don't know me, but you guys are about to be amazed.
You have to impress.
I love that. I actually get bored when I have my own Sark Nation in the building. They're going to get mad at this, but it's literally, there is no challenge. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know they're going to scream. They're not even going to listen to what you're doing.
And some of them are even going to rap more than you.
Exactly. You don't say anything and they're excited. Yeah. But these people are like, who is this? I want to know who, exactly. And then I went there, and there was a lot of the Emiratis, is that what they call it? And a lot of white people there as well, and then our people as well. But then I was excited about that, because these guys were, and before I left, I got all of them being involved in the performance, which is
the signature dance. I was going to go. Did you do your signature dance with them?
I had to do that.
Yeah.
So yes, I love it when it's a big challenge. Yeah.
Wow, I can imagine. It's been a journey. I don't think we can even exhaust all the conversations that we wish to have. When it comes to Sarkodie, it would never fit into 2 hours. It's impossible. But we'll be jumping into the album itself, and that's what the excitement is. It's dropping tomorrow. So he was saying
actually, technically, it's like today.
Today,
yes,
yeah.
It's midnight, so 12 is
12.
Yeah.
12. And so well. To ask regarding releasing, announcing this on social media, the usual you would have probably, the media tour on social media, I beg your pardon. You announced that you're going to go around and then have engagements with people, with media houses.
Media, yeah.
Yeah. What informed that?
I think that has always been a thing when a project or something is happening. So, of course, I need to get the music out there. I need to make sure that my presence is felt. So it's only right that when there's that time coming, you have to utilize the opportunity, and then also catch up with people that, if not today, I've not seen you in ages. So it's always right and nice that you have to do it. It's a must, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, so now look, let's put this out of the way. Let's jump into the song. I'm just itching to go through the track list. I saw a message, a post, I beg your pardon, from you with the one about Sina. So I was like, gee, I can't wait wait to hear this one. I went to the list. I saw the countryside with Black Horse. Like, yay, this is going to be crazy. So I know people are waiting. Let's just go through it one by one. 10-track album.
Yes.
Was it specific on the 10, the number 10 songs?
No. So when I do projects, the project forms itself. I don't try to get in the space of it. So if I get to a point where I feel like I'm fatigued, this is it, then I end. Luckily, I ended on 10. I think I actually have like 2 or 3 more, but then the 10 just felt like, let me just cut it out there. And it wasn't like I deliberately sat down and said, this is what I'm going to do.
How do artists select your music for your albums? Like, I always keep wondering. Like,
everybody has their own approach. We have artists who will say, I'm about to do an album. And then they sit down and go like, this is the direction.
They theme it and all that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I don't usually do that. I let myself feel free and just start recording music. And by the time I realize, I'm like, oh, I think I have a project. Because there is a mood happening and I'm tapping into the mood. So how I feel at that point is what informs the type of music I'll record. And then I feel like, I think mostly it happens when I know I have like 4 or 5 songs. I'm like, okay, I think this is a project. Then I zone into the project. But I think if I sit down and say I'm about to do a project, it doesn't normally come out well for me.
So what was the mood? What was the mood for this Jamz album?
Jamz is basically just enjoying life at this point. I think it was more of, I was taking trips to certain places, beautiful places. I went to Zanzibar. I went to Cape Town. I went to Mykonos, Mauritius, and some with the team, some with family. And it was just a great vibe. And I just needed sounds that kind of depicts those moments. And I was also inspired by one time, I'm about to give this away. So I normally end my day at Skybar. Yeah, that's where we met.
You catch him there.
Yes. So I go there, and then I think one night there was a female DJ playing on my piano, and I was sold. I know I'm a piano, but that was a night where I was like,
enter your boom.
I understand that the whole buzz about it, because back to back I'm a piano. If you sit through that session, trust me, you're gonna love it. And then that also kicked in. I was like, let me just call all these producers and ask them for this type of vibe. And then I started getting productions, and then it created itself.
Looking at you've done projects that are themed before, put out a lot of singles as well. For the Jamz that you're bringing these kind of positive vibes as a project, right? There's a lot of names that people would have expected that will make you feature this person, bring this person, bring Jamz there, call this person. I want to know the intentionality behind these people. If there's a reason behind why these are the features we are seeing, because there are other, I'm not going to mention any names, but obviously, especially Sark.
Can I add to the question?
We are going to mention.
The thing is that everything you do, let me just be blunt. Everything you do, people feel that there's a badass strategy to it. This is Sarkodie just cracking his brain and saying, you know what? No, 2 times 5 of oxide would give me. So is that the case? There's science to everything.
What's the science to these features?
Nah.
Or the feeling carry you?
Exactly. I like the fact that people actually feel like that about Sarkodie. That tells you that maybe you're on a path where people don't believe that it can just happen organically. This is something that you had to plan. There are things that I plan that has to do with business. Yes, that one you can go with feelings. Business is a structure that you have to go with. But I think the art itself, I think you can go based on being organic and just creating music. And what happened was, I'm good at knowing the vocals that will sit on certain projects. Some I know it's going to be very hard to be able to get. Some I know they're like arms away that I can reach them. So I think it was mainly just the people that I could get, and I knew that they were going to kill the project. And then
same people you can get. Is it difficult to? I mean, for you,
yes,
difficult to get some people.
It's not difficult to get a person, but sometimes they are in a situation where it's difficult to be able to get clearance for it. Because this is the business side of it, which is a bit. I think my brother will know how that goes. It's a whole lot. I'm an independent artist, so it's easier when Miss G gets a verse from me, and then she wants the clearance. It's gonna be quick because I'll just say put it out, and I don't have to report to anybody. But then there are certain artists. I'm not saying that's no shade though. I'm just saying people have structures that it takes a long time. It's stressful.
The structures kind of interfere with the creative process.
Me and Serial can do a great record, but now when it's time to release it's a whole.
We are not ready.
Management say this, and I say that.
Exactly. So now that can also stop something great from happening. But I make sure that people that I use, I don't have to go through that stress.
I am intrigued by what you said, that you've been traveling around and that influenced some of the things that you put out in music. out of that, I want to know whether you're always recording on the go, or you carry those memories back home with you, and then you enter one particular studio, or you carry your equipment with you wherever you go, and you feel like the vibe, you know,
his house.
you know.
I want to know many other places to record.
So I want to know, because you know, if you're in Zanzibar, there's a feeling that you have your recorder, everything with you.
So with recording, I think I just had to come to a harsh understanding that it's been very difficult for me to record outside Ghana. I do record outside Ghana, but the energy is different. I can stay in London for like 2 months and I'll not be inspired to write.
Wow.
So I think what you said, not that, what you said, I didn't think about it, but that's true. I carry the memories along without even knowing. So I'll come back and then I'll go like I was on a boat on the ocean in this place, but I didn't write at that point. Then I come back home and then the beat is playing and I have those memories and I start writing. I think there's something about my home that gives me the vibes that I need. Even if I'm going to write something that is not typically Ghanaian, I still have to be in Ghana.
Does it have to do with family? Or it's just a setting at home?
It's Ghana.
Okay.
It's Ghana. Like if I'm in Ghana, I write my best. I don't think I've written any big record outside Ghana. I don't think so.
Wow.
Doesn't that interfere with collaboration? Like somebody needs you on a joint.
Exactly.
But the way your schedules day.
Yeah,
so this has been one big challenge I'm trying to work on. For the past 3-4 years, I've not been able to. I used to do on the spot in the studio, and I know you know that. Like you give me a beat and I start writing. For a minute, no. I need to sit with a record. I feel like I need to challenge myself, because when I write on the spot, I will go with the first thing that I thought about, which could have been better if I give myself time. So what happens now is I can get a great opportunity to be in the studio with a lot of people, and so sometimes I only write so that the person can give me the hook, and I'll go and work on the record. Because sometimes they need your energy to just sing. So I don't do that whole on the spot thing no more. I need to take my time, because if you, as you said, you're doing this for a very long time, so you're likely to sound like something that you have done previously. Yeah. So
you see what he did to you see what he did to this guy. Is it the Kenyan or no, the rapper?
We did a great record.
He's spoiled. They were playing small. No,
I like his submission, right?
It's the boy.
Because he's talking about moving from writing verses in a session to writing songs.
That's true.
And I want to know how that has transitioned, because like you said, you came up an MC.
Yes.
And MC is all about verses. It's all about verses. You're 16, then you close.
Exactly.
But now you are putting out projects. You have to think about the song, the feature. How hard has that transition been? Because, like, I've known you forever, right? And I've seen the whole growth. You have moved from, this is a hard verse, to let me do a good song.
A good song, true.
How has that progression been?
I think it came as a necessity. It wasn't like I had to change. You feel it. You know, you see that. Listen, you are at the point where you've moved from N1 to actually going to the real NBA. You can't be doing stunts at this point, because doing stunts is there. As you said, on the spot, I'll come up with a verse. Everybody's gonna freak out. Oh, that was so sick. And after 2 weeks, you don't want to listen to it again. But listening to a song for 3 minutes, people think it's easy, but it's very hard for somebody to keep a song on for 3 minutes and listen through and not skip. It takes a lot. That is when. I don't want to use the word dumb it down necessarily, but sonically it has to appeal to the ear, because there could be a hard bar, but then it's not worth listening to for a very long time. You know, so we have the freestyle time, but then when it has to do with the music, I have to take my time. And it's been a feeling. So the same thing. It wasn't hard. It wasn't like, oh, I'm supposed to change. I just felt it. The only thing is, it sometimes makes me feel like, have I lost it?
I know, that's why once in a while they give you some freestyle.
Exactly.
Because it's like drag.
So
your system
there was a point,
let it out.
there was a point where, because I know myself, that I used to just write freestyles like a week. I'll do a lot, and now I take a pen and a paper. Everything I say I don't like, and I'm like, are you losing it? Is it? But it's not that. I just got to realize that you are somebody who wants perfection for yourself, and that's the only reason why you don't want to fall for what people think you're supposed to do, but you think about yourself as an artist and what you're supposed to present.
Now, I look at the album and I see a lot of the features has got to do with people who are singers.
Yes.
You know, and Lenny had a conversation recently with one rapper. I don't want to mention his name so that it doesn't look like we are referring to him. But he said in that conversation that, you know, you need, now it's moved from the days where rappers were needed by singers to make a hit song. Now it looks like rappers now need singers to make a hit song. And I was thinking through it, is it true, or is just the fact that people want to jam now? Is it true that now every rapper would need a singer to get a hit song?
So I know you don't want to mention the person, but the person meant that it was the other way around.
He said before now, rappers were needed by singers to make hit tracks. So because rap was an in thing at that time, but now choruses have become the in thing, and now it looks like every rapper, because he was trying to defend why he put a singer on his track, and it looked like the singer had what's the word to use? Overshadowed him.
It's like, own the record.
Yeah, so exactly. He said, well, that's the phase we are in now. You need more singers to have your song out there.
I think
Amrado said that. I've choked.
I think it has been like that to me. I don't think it was the other way around. I think it has been like that because from the days of, Obrafour, yes, we are doing hip life that caters to a certain crowd. But I think singing always cuts across. Singing actually is what we term as music, technically. Rap became a subset of music. So it came along with it. So if you think about it, chords, stretching your vocals is actually what people tend to see as music. And rap came and we had our own core following. So the people that actually listen to a song like Illuminati are not the same people who are going to listen to Adonai. But then Adonai is going to bring me the cash. So now if I want to go into that circle, yes, you need...
you need the bridge.
Yes, you need a bridge. And for the overshadow thing, I've noticed that. So what that means is if you're a rapper and you want to put a singer, like a song like Painkiller, which is dominated by Runtown, because his hook is the biggest thing on the record. I was able to still shine because I put in a lot of work personally as Sarkodie. So you don't come on as a rapper trying to tap into Runtown's fame. So you as a rapper have to work 10 times harder than a singer
to leverage.
Because in Afrobeat, not to brag, but I think you can look around and count so many rappers in Afrobeat that's dominating. There's rappers in Afrobeat, but I'm talking about dominance. And being a name that would be considered if you're having a big concert. I had to work 10 times harder. But then you can't take away the fact that hooks is based on singers, and they do the best.
10 times harder with kids running around in the house and writing verses must be a very daunting task to make it happen, and being a father. So we'll touch into all that. For you as well, who sent us tweets on our Ask Sark, we'll just jump into your questions later on. But let's enjoy some music though. Now let's talk about the album. Let's go from track to track, and run through all the 10. Let's start. Let's put the artwork on the track list on the screens. By the way, beautiful artwork, I must say. It was very simple, straightforward. I mean,
very mature.
Yeah, very matured, if you ask me. So,
but do you understand why it was like
so?
That?
No, tell us.
You guys don't have any shit like that here.
What? That why?
Like normally, that's how they present to you guys when you have to do a lineup, whatever you guys are doing. Your production team gives you stuff
program lineup.
Playlist. That's a sheet like that is what you guys do.
Right.
So that was the inspiration.
So you themed it like that.
It's a playlist. It's not a track list. So it's like I'm giving this playlist to Miss G.
Okay.
That was basically the idea.
You know, when I saw the A list, right, it made me feel like a cassette. You know, A side, A and side B.
There's a B side though.
Oh, really? There's a B side.
There's a B side, but it's not now. It's not coming out now. Like
interesting.
So the B side will also be another album in total.
I don't know if I have to name it an album because I don't even name this an album. It's a playlist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why have you moved from, like the way you said, I don't name this an album. It's like you've moved from naming things albums, EPs, just give it to them.
Yes, what it feels like is how I want to address it, because this didn't feel to me like a typical Sarkodie album. I know the type of songs that's going to be on there, and I don't think there was enough of a Sarkodie type of album on that. And this just felt like songs that if I'm listening to Jay on the radio, I would want to listen to and not skip, and that's how it felt. So it felt like a playlist. That's
so does this mean you've moved from the Sarkodie we know from the old album?
No. It's always a feeling.
You sure?
Yes, because I only turn around to do other stuff when I'm fatigued about one thing. So I did Mary because I was tired of listening to what I was doing, and then I was frustrated. I needed something. I needed a challenge. So when I do that, then I refresh my mind, and I can. I was saying that.
Just saying that upstairs. Yeah.
When you guys were playing Vibration, and I was listening to it, I was like, "Nah, I need to go back to this because now I'm refreshed."
Yeah, you're ready for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
Sarkodie, you did mention a Sarkodie type of album, right? Now, in defining that yourself, what would you say that is like? I'm tying that into when you dropped this playlist. People kept saying that the caliber of features that you have on it are quote unquote, not at your level.
Below Sarkodie.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how would you define that?
A typical Sarkodie album, I think, is I know the sounds that Sark Nation likes, I try to cut across. I'm a greedy person when it has to do with music. I try to touch all music lovers. I don't want to leave anybody out. But if I want to do a typical Sarkodie project, I don't think general music lovers are even going to notice. I dropped the album because it's not the type of songs that will get to them. These
it's
are
not
songs,
commercial.
Exactly. Original, Illuminati. You know, if you come to Rapaholic, that's when you're going to appreciate songs like that. Married to the Game, those type of records. But if you want Azonto Fiesta, Amnetin, Painkiller, Lucky, those are different. So a typical Sarkodie album will be Sac Nation focused. Yeah. And also with features, I think we are in an era where we are being sold the whole idea of, yes, you do a song with this person and this is, which is good because you want to reach out to like bigger audience and all of that. And I think, yes, there's a point where you get to, it's only right that people expect that you do more. And I'm okay with that, with the challenge, because I put myself in that position. But at the same time, we're dealing with the business. There's structures to it. And that's what I said in the beginning. My song with gigs, do you know why it's called Round 2? Because there was a Round 1. And the Round 1, the guy that produced it, if I tell you who produced the record, you freak out. But then we're done with the record and I want to release it. Guys, the issues that came with it. And it's just because I'm an independent artist, so organically I can do songs with a lot of people, but then how to put the project out is going to be an issue. And to just take all that hustle out, I still have to do with what I have. So that's what has been happening. There's been songs that I have that I still have to listen to it by myself. I can't release.
Wow.
Yes, so it's that hard. It's the business side of it, which is a problem. But I wouldn't deny the fact that there's expectation from Sarkodie, and I think it's only right.
Right. But just on that, isn't also for me, before we go, it's not just about the album. For me, it's also I thought that the Sarkodie appreciating young talents. I think over the period, that's what it looks like to me. I see him.
But you know what? As I said, everything about me, it could be good, it could be positive and negative. I like organic stuff. So if you listen to, there's a song on there called 1 Million Cities featuring Ink Boy. Nobody has an idea who the boy is. I was in Nigeria. I had a bunch of superstars in the building, my apartment. Fino was there, Joe Boy, Mastercraft, Rexy, everybody. And then we created a beat, and I heard some kid in the corner making melodies. I was like, who's that? Yo, bro, let me hear. Wait, start singing. I'm like, that's the hook. And then the guys were like, but you know you can get, because my friends, if you reach out to this, I'm like, no. It's the music. I don't care about who sang it. You know, I actually have one artist that we have like 2 songs, and to date I'm not still comfortable. I feel like we could have done better. So I'm not really about, you have to drop it. You know, it has to be the record. So I'm moved organically by the music first. And if it happens to be Michael Jackson, then yes, that's good. But then the first thing is who is going to do it. I swear, if I'm here and Miss G comes up with a good chorus,
it'll be the next song.
That will be it.
Miss G, that's your cue.
I have to play for somebody to do the chorus.
Like, I'm not going to go like,
already dressed for the game, bro.
How is it going to sound? Because people don't know Miss G. I don't care about that. The song sounds good and it's going to make it. Yes.
And then who knows? I mean, that person might be the next big thing, you know.
Exactly.
Let's get the track list now, A-list back on the screens now. And then let's just do a quick run through them and understand the stories behind one. At least we've gotten one now. That was with Ink Boy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got one now, but we'll still get into details on that. But let's get the Jamz track list back there. I saw the video you did post with the making of the album cover.
Yes.
Who was the guy who did it?
I forgot his name, but that's
it was dope. It was deep. It was deep. Okay, so
credits down there though. So.
Yeah, okay. Let's kick off with the credits. All right. Yeah, it's way down there. So, executive producer, of course, KG Spio. Who's KG Spio?
That's my business manager.
Oh, okay. All right. And then yourself, art direction, A&R direction. Okay, so KG Spio, recording engineer, Posse G.
There.
Yeah, mixed by you. You've been working a lot with Posse G.
Yes, we had to update that anyway because MOG also did a lot of mixing.
Okay. Okay. Mixed by STG, Young Uche Chukwu. He's Nigerian, right?
Chukwuemeka.
This is the part that I get lost in. I have to read just the same way you're doing because I wasn't part of the whole process. So.
Okay, I see a lot of Nigerian names in here. You engage a lot of the expertise, didn't you?
Yes. So my manager has a lot of people that work on mixes and all these things, and some happen to be Nigerian.
Yes. Okay, and that's okay. So Dolby Atmos mastering sound design. Okay, so we see names in there. Let's give shouts to them. Bayo Adeputu, Abiola, Lala, Olayinka.
But why is it that important that you have them on there?
I think it's right.
No, I'm just asking
Tag
because
me on your last post, please.
No, I think it's only right that when you work, you want people to know that this is your work exactly. You know,
has it been because I'm asking because it's not been something I'm used to. That's what I'm asking. Has it been this all through your career?
Yes.
Or is this just a new phase?
No.
Every time you release, I'm not talking about the official works. I'm talking about you just releasing your playlist and having to give credit on that.
Like what I did with Party and BS with Idris Elba, though the beat was reproduced by a new producer, but then the original beat that I took the inspiration from came from Mark Okrekumante. So I could have easily just, because he didn't produce the final work, and Mark and Zap.
Okay.
But then they have to represent because that's where I wrote the record from. So it's only right that,
It's also in recent times, in the likes of Jackie, Camido, Kelvin Boy, and them, Sina Soul have also done lots of their mixes, engaging Nigerian producers. I mean, is it coming of the fact that, they have mastered this craft very well? And it's
I made a statement where we had the audio conversation about them being able to mix in Adobe Surround and all. That's what they've got there. The Dolby Atmos mastering means that whether you play it on your headphones, on your iPhone, or in 7.1 surround, you get full impact. That's what I'm saying.
So basically,
we are still, I mean, not to shade our local people, but a lot of the people here are still mixing in 2.1 surround. So your sound will hit for studio. Because studio monitors, they pop.
Exactly.
But you play it anywhere else, and you're like, I know they play like how you hit for the studio.
So that's true. You make any kind of my days.
Don't go back.
And if you mix.
So it's big that you put that there, because that's the standard. That's the world standard.
But is that the same reason, what is giving, that you have the Nigerians, doing that?
Honestly, whether you believe it or not, I'm just thinking about this whole Nigerian bunch. Nigerian people.
Yeah, I feel you.
Now, like,
the business is into your headache now.
And we saw it coming. That's what I'm saying, that when we had our conversation.
But see, the thing is, I don't know these people personally, right? So when I was done, I just look at sounds that I want, the type of sounds that I want. And then they said, this guy is the guy who's going to be able to do it. I'm like, get the person on board. I don't care whether he's Chinese. I just want this type of sound.
Professional.
So honestly, I'm just actually looking at this and seeing a lot of Nigerians. But
with that, it comes as a surprise to me to an extent, right? Now, you did mention that the credits list has to be updated because MOG, who did a lot of mixing, is not on there.
Yes.
So it takes me to my question: if you work with split sheets, because if you do work with split sheets, I don't see how there's the possibility of missing out on someone who worked heavily on it.
Okay, so what happened was, this project was done at this time. I can't remember the exact date, but it was twice mastered. So the first one, I listened to it, I thought I was okay, but there were certain records that I was like, nah. Then I made Emoji come on. And Emoji,
okay.
One secret. The album is coming out in a few hours.
Yeah.
We still have one mix.
Wow.
That one day happens.
Wow.
And then they're normal.
Emoji, no, not Emoji. Yeah, I think one guy is doing it today.
As you speak.
Exactly. So that's how it works. So sometimes so now if I have to give that guy credit, I have to update it now. So that's what happened with MOG on that.
But
he wasn't, in the beginning, he wasn't necessarily touching any of them because I wanted to say, I didn't want too much of this sounds like this
variations
and then, but then I realized that the person touching certain songs, they didn't have the ear for other songs. So then I'm like, Emoji just...
But it takes a while for these stores to upload the music, or you're going to fast track.
Not talking to.
Hey, powers.
But the pipeline, different pipeline.
So you just have to cut. And then it's on there.
It's the highest you're talking to.
I know, right? I know. All right, let's go to the first one. I mean, Labadi, we've seen visuals on that, Sarkodie and King Promise. I mean, you pushed the gears really far onto the 6th with this one. Flying all the way to Greece, blending with Labadi. Just talk to us about it, and the Labadi and the meaning, everything to it.
This song and what you just said, just shooting this video, I asked myself, I think I put way too much into my craft, especially finances is extremely high. And sometimes I compare what we do as artists to a lot of big companies who might not even necessarily put that much money into what they're doing. And then those companies will be seen as this, and then artists will be seen here. But because of somebody who actually puts money into what I'm doing, I confidently can say that I can talk about it because it takes a lot to do these things. I wanted a certain vibe, and I was not going to compromise. When I heard the record, it was sent to me by Kublon, a Nigerian producer. As soon as I heard it, he sent it to me on WhatsApp, and I didn't. Normally, I would say whether I like it or not. You know, I would send fire emojis or whatever. As soon as I loved the song, I loved the beat so much, I started writing, and forgot to write him back. So when I was done with the first verse, I'm like, that's what I normally do. I'll ask the producer, what were you feeling when you wrote it? So then I had done the first verse, all my beautiful ladies up in the building, they're going to send me location, me and my homies. So talking about party, beach vibe and all these things. And I asked him and he was like, I was just thinking about a boat ride. And I was like, this is crazy. That's exactly what I wrote.
Universe, no crazy.
Exactly. So then I had pictures in my brain, like the stuff I want to see. And I thought Making Us was going to do justice to it. It was going to take a lot. But I said, if that's what I want to see, then I have to go for it. You know, so what you guys are looking at is we literally flying the whole team, as in the production crew from London. None of the girls are from Making Us. Everybody had to fly from somewhere.
Wow.
One of them came from the States. This one is from the States. This girl from UK, and her Priscilla is from UK as well. So I had to fly all of them in, host them there. I hate to talk about, but sometimes I want people to understand what goes into it. So the villa that we stayed in, a day is €6,000.
Whoa.
€6,000
per day.
A day.
Yes, and we stayed there for 5 days. That is aside booking the chef and all these people, and everybody has to get paid. The crew coming from London, my team, people coming from America.
Flights.
Just for that video.
Can I react?
That's crazy.
Can I react?
Yeah,
Please react.
When your name pops up on the phone when it's turned on, you know what I mean?
No, but why are you
that is a lot of
deliberate?
money.
Yeah, why are you deliberate? Why would you want to put so much money in this? And how do you recoup? You know, after doing
Please
this.
add to it that I know you are someone who is very particular in your visuals and you are involved in the look and feel of your videos. And how did you also, put yourself into this one?
It's just the craziness that comes with what I really love. I think I've always loved music more than anything else. And if you give me the opportunity to buy something for myself or shoot content, I'll choose content any day. And that's where, from the beginning, if you follow Sarkodie's journey, I started doing these things like way long time ago. You know, when I started flying OJ and Isihini to SA, Adonai, Special Someone with Berna, Panetin with Banky W. But I will give props to Nigerians because when I got close to them, I realized this thing about them. Davido is going to put his everything into getting what he wants. And I think you can't cheat that. This is the only time you can sell your music. Nobody knows where you live. People might not know the car that you drive, but this is the only time that you have to sell your music without people seeing you. So I don't think you literally have to compromise. There are certain videos you don't need to go this far. But this, I had this vision that I couldn't compromise. And
talking about going far.
No, but he's not told us how he recoups.
Yeah, recoups the money.
So recoup is, with my business, it's a bit different. I don't mind putting all this money because I own my stuff. So long term, it's still going to pay off. Just that it's not going to pay off now. It doesn't. Okay. I'm not going to recoup this in even 2-3 years from this song.
Wow.
But it's forever though. So if I didn't own that, then I wouldn't put that amount of money. If I'm doing this for Miss G, I'm going to spend $1,000 because I love it. But if it's mine, you don't mind putting in 120 or 200 and know that with time, just the mental state that where I know that is for me. That gives me.
How much did this cost you?
I don't want to.
Not just a range. No, I just want to understand. Like a range. You're in maybe 100,000 USD around that.
Definitely around 150.
US dollars.
Yes.
Wow. That's
definitely
a lot.
Now, but I used the opportunity to shoot something else, so I count all that into it. And I'm not going to go there and just do this and come back.
Okay.
Okay, Lenny.
Sarkodie, with this song, I understand that you've earlier mentioned how there's a change or somewhat of a change with you having to just do verses and then having to write, right? Okay. So with this song Labadi, when it dropped, on listening to just the first few lines, did you ever hear or see people say that is the typical Sarkodie sound? It's not something we haven't heard before.
Yes, I'm supposed to respect that. That's back to what I said. It's Sarkodie. I don't think at this point I would do something that somebody will hear and go like, the first listen, at this point, I'm in a space where I need to give people time because it's you. If anybody else had done this, it would be a pass quickly. Me, of course, there's a lot expected. I've been doing this for a very long time. For me to sing something or say something that you'll be moved, it's not that easy, even if it's that dope. So I understand that dynamic of people. If I'm about to release a project, like the project coming out, people go like, oh, this is this, and we expect this. But the confidence in what I do is I know listen, I love this song more than you like it. That's the funny thing. I love Labadi more than the fans. And this is a song that I listen to personally. You know, so I'm happy about it. And I know that feeling. And gradually I'm getting people who actually love the record because it was the first impulse of, oh, this is Sarkodie. And I say, we are in the train, we are in Hawaii. And it's expected. I think that's what's supposed to happen. But with time, you'll still appreciate it. It's a good record.
Still on that end with
writing?
Big artists who actually have people write for them so that they just do the singing or the rapping, right?
Yes.
Have you put thoughts into letting other people do your writing for you just so that it switches your sound a bit, and then when we hear it, we don't just, jump and say, the first thing we say is typically, oh, it's a Sarkodie thing. I'll also make reference to Tems and Rihanna with just the recently
Black
released
Panther.
Yes.
Wakanda Forever.
I do that most times. I think most records, if going back to a typical Sarkodie, I have a typical Sarkodie. I get to do Mary because I had a Kwabwa on there writing, shaping that record, So I do that regardless. And this record was, yes, the production started the record, but Kim Promise owned, the direction of how the main music is supposed to go.
Okay.
So with time, I used to rely on my strength. I wrote Adonai, I wrote Baby, I wrote Mary by myself. But then I believe what you said. I believe in no matter how talented you are, we have few people who can actually be extremely dynamic and go from here and go there. And it's not bad if you're one way. People actually think it's a problem. It's not. You just figure a way to be able to win. So now if Miji has something else or Cyril has something else, I'm like, jump on board, make I tap into that. And I think that's how I've been able to maintain this for a very long time. I've not relied on the sack or their strength too much because I think it's not even realistic. If Drake is doing an album with 21 Savage, who are you to say you are relying on your power? So I don't believe in that. I believe, and I've always been doing that. I always involve people. There are certain sounds that left on my own, there is no way I'm going to come up with it because I'm not in that zone. So I would need this person to.
That's real. I like that. That's very deep and very honest.
But for writing, rap verses is going to be hard for me to.
I was just about to think that the Sac Nation people they'll do it.
There's a song on there called She Bad. That's Oxlade on. It's crazy that I just mentioned the same song. So the second verse, the melody was given to me by somebody. So if you listen to it, yes, I agree with what you're saying. So now, this is the
second song, right?
No, this is a non-living thing.
Oh,
So by the second song on the
I was like, is this one?
No, he's referring to the second song on the A-list.
Second song.
Okay.
Okay. So the second verse was inspired by somebody else. The lyrics by me, but the whole vibe. So I understand. I listened to myself and I was refreshed listening to it.
Right.
But normally typical rap verses is going to be hard for me to let it.
Which is understandable. Which is understandable.
So I want to know, right?
Wait. What is She Bad about? I want to.
You want to go move from Labadi? We are done with Labadi.
No. Okay. Just the last thing on Labadi. Kim Promise. I feel like we are sitting on that guy. I don't know. I just feel like he's super. He's one of our
Yes.
He should be one of our biggest R&B Afrobeat exports. But I feel like I don't know. It's just
he's been performing around the world. We need to shout
is
him out
super
as well,
good.
I just saw him in London yesterday performing.
He's on an European tour, actually.
Bottom line is let's just be real with the Ghanaian masses and what they like. What they like might not necessarily be what's going to carry us to the next level because you're torn between appealing to your people and trying to move forward. So there was a time where I was on this because I got carried away. No, it's good carrying away because I started doing the pandatin and I was on that vibe. But guess what? If I go to a place like Kumasi, they don't care about pandatin.
Yeah.
They don't care about Painkiller. They don't want to hear those songs. What they want to hear is Booza.
Interesting.
Right? So you are torn between if you have the masses
that's
to
release them or to progress.
wanting this type of record, but then when you go to the world, that's not what they're ready for. You are torn between these two. If you are in a country where I think Nigeria is open to alternative type of sound, so you could do you don't need no other body, and then maybe the Nigerian, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I feel like the masses can still support it. Us, yes, we have a certain, and you see, we get carried away with the whole idea that there's people in Accra who love a certain type of record, but it's not necessarily a Ghana thing that they are rallying behind
We confuse Accra with Ghana.
Exactly. So where you're from, now, so somebody had to put a plug back on me and go like, he spoke to me at Reggie's office and called me at the car park and said, Sark, I know you're doing great things or whatever, but I think you're losing your roots. And I was like, I'm making good name out there. I was on a path where Africans are really messing with me, but then what he said was true though, because those records, when I come back home and I play it, even at Rapaholic, they want to, they know it's a good song, but they're not
in tune.
Yes,
the sad they know.
Typical example is Painkiller, one of my biggest records, but it doesn't get the most reaction when I perform in Ghana. So now you are like, do you keep this? Trust me, on this project, I don't have a typical Ghanaian record on it. And it could be a problem, but also sometimes you need to make a decision. Because if all these records are like a typical Ghanaian hit, then I'll be good to go. Imagine if Boza and a friend saying Major Girl is what is dominating in Afrobeat. That would have been a great thing for myself, Shatta, everybody else. Because Shatta can do something like, Shatta has certain sounds that I think it can get out there. But guess what? Our people here would not necessarily mess with it. So as an artist, you are dancing.
So the culture of Ghanaian is poses like a restriction sometimes for artists to blow themselves
they want
out
extremely
of
indigenous type of sound. You know, so and whether you like it or not, if you come to Ghana, take the biggest hits, you know that's
the sound.
It's quite interesting to hear that, you know, when you're trying to do these international collaborations, it makes you lose a bit of home touch. You know,
so
the
it's
people
a decision
want,
that you have to make. That if you want to go out there, just close your mind. I don't think everybody should make one decision. I'm just speaking from how I deal with it, because I still feel like I don't want to miss out with my people here, because that's how Sarkodie came up. It was about me being witty and saying these funny things, and people were liking it. But then when I go to these places, they don't understand that, so I had to do a song like this.
That's the universal appeal.
Exactly.
All right, now we can go to Shebad. Yeah, we have, because we have our time and then the other songs left.
Shebad, one of my, I think, will pass to be my top 3. The mood of the music, I loved it, and I was so involved in the production. This particular one, I came up with the melody. Big shouts to Guilty Beats. He produced it. Super great, good mood music, but still commercial, and has some piano vibes in there.
Why do you keep going back to Oxlade?
Yeah, I was just about to say, he turned top Twitter.
So Oxlade was introduced to me by Bankuli from Nigeria. He played Oxlade on YouTube. I was in London and I was sold. And at that point, he didn't have any big record. And that's when I did Not Living Thin with him. And guess what? Not Living Thin, when I met him, he had DM'd me years ago.
Wow.
And I didn't. And he said, so what? Ken, I have a song for you.
Whoa.
And that was Not Living Thin. So when I opened the DM and I was about to write him that I love his music, I saw it. So now we kept on, and then he dropped it, and I did it. And I think I just love his vocals. He's extremely good.
Yeah. Are you getting visuals on Shebad?
Yes, it's one of the strongest on the project, so it definitely needs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So we have
really
visuals for all 10.
Huh?
Visuals for all 10.
Almost.
Well, because we had a message on our socials that was asking that why don't you do visuals for all your projects? I think it was on our Twitter page. Somebody was asking, we should ask you why you don't have visuals for all your projects.
You know, the reason why they say that is I'm a visual person when I'm writing. So when you listen to my music, mostly you imagine visuals. But again, you guys know how much I put into visuals. So I have to be as much as I want to get carried away and shoot, I would love to shoot for everything, but we're talking about business here. So no matter how you feel like you can shoot for everything, you have to be strategic on the ones that you can shoot to the max, and then you choose and shoot that. And I think, Sac Nation, I pamper them too much. I give them too much. You know what they look at? They look at what I haven't done. They always want to skip what I've done, and then trust me, I'll release this project, and they're going to post a snippet of a song that I posted maybe 2 years ago.
You know your people want this. There's a comment here, and the guy says, please, Cyril, ask Sark why he has not released some of the music videos. You know your people well.
So the Ask Sark hashtag is still running. We're going to come to all your questions in about the next, say, about 20 minutes. So please just bear with us and hold on. But let's go to Confirm. That's like just you. The only just you on the whole.
I think Confirm might pass as the typical Sarkodie Ghana record, but just the beats is still international. You know, we have some local.
If you ask me, right, Confirm is the track on the project where the rapper in Sark got he buy himself one plot on the album so that he can respond. I know the feeling.
So is it hip hop? Is it Afrobeat?
No, I'm a piano.
I'm a piano.
Yeah. But then I went hard.
He wanted to show off. I'm expecting
it's true. This is typical old Sarkodie about him and him. I'm see my type of.
Right.
You want flex?
If you guys listen to this and you don't laugh, then I don't know. Where you guys
why didn't you put this one on the album? The one that you shot the freestyle in the car with who was sitting by you.
I'll see what I can do.
Look,
see, that's a typical.
Yeah, that's a typical
look. I think I get you when you say Charlie the home. Like I mean I'm a pen.
But you see, exactly. But then maybe that will have a limitation, but my people will love it. But it's always good that
you tip the scale a bit. Yeah,
so
because I think if he keeps doing what the people want constantly, then you won't grow.
Exactly.
You won't grow in any way.
I think that has been the dynamics with the Sarkodie career over the years that I kind of like go here and
you give them small, then I just do what's best for the brand.
Exactly.
Charlie, that jam, eh?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Hey,
the way my sister vex.
Oh.
Like I think at that point then she threw some bomb where the bomb no land because of what I say. Oh. Did you agree with what I was saying in that song? Have you listened?
Okay.
The song that he's talking about, I've not heard it. I won't tell a lie, so I'm going to listen to it afterwards.
So I'll see what I can do. Is that Ubisa Misika? I was saying catch us and heard it to me.
Oh.
Oh, may transactions be scan bar. Then I go sort you out. And that's all kind of winner. Because the girl is talking about your hostel fee.
Oh, no, I think I've heard that.
People were tweeting it.
I've heard that, yeah. I think I've heard that song.
No girl liked it, so I don't expect you to like it.
We're going to go to track 4.
Yes, we spoke about
real quick, when you were spending money on Labadi, what did your the real business advisor of Sarkodie? I want to say the real business advisor. We know. The landlord. Does she come into how you spend on some of these projects? In
the beginning, she was concerned.
Okay.
But then she knows I'm a very stubborn person when it has to do what I want to get.
Yeah.
So she knows I'll choose that over anything else. I'll choose that over my brother's school fees.
Oh.
Because that is what's going to keep me there, so you can still come back to me even after
for more fees.
Exactly.
Right.
So that
priorities, right?
Priorities.
He defines stubborn.
No, there's not. This is my top priority in life.
Yeah. Get it done. 1 million CDs. Okay, so that's what we spoke about, the Sark King Boy story. All right, so I think we can skip that. We spoke about that real quickly. Cougar. All right.
You know what Cougar?
The Cougar is Cougar, right?
Yes.
Cougar.
Is that smoke? Is that cigar?
No. What's Cougar? We have to play the song at 10 p.m.
You don't qualify to be Cougars.
No, not
not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
Some 10 years from Miss G, then we will.
I'm not a Cougar yet.
It's not there.
Probably 10 years.
10 years, I said.
An older woman.
I'll give you the date.
Oh, like a sugar mommy.
Exactly.
Cougar, they're 45 plus.
Yeah.
I don't hear the lyrics already.
But wait, why Cougar? Did you ever have one, or you?
I've always been drawn to strong feminine women who we have difference with a woman trying to be unnecessarily arrogant or like mean for no reason. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody who is sure of herself, but then allows you. It's like I want you to be a man, not necessarily because I can't battle that. I just like that the fact that you can be a man. But then I know you are sorted, you are driven, you are extremely, because when I speak with people, I'm a very deep person, so I hate when I can't deal with a girl, that you are talking to, and someone can screw our day, you know.
But with what you are saying, I guess you're speaking from experience. Have you ever been in that position?
That's what he's trying to explain.
So it might not even be a relationship as in whatever. Yeah. But even if you're going to be a friend, because I have my business partner is a female.
Right.
My business partner is a female, and that's one of the strongest people I've seen.
Yeah,
that's one person. One person that I can literally, I go to her, sit, and listen.
Yeah.
And then she breaks things down. This is how the business world works, and this and that. So I just like it.
Yeah.
It looks.
Is it Mariam? She's a very smart.
Yes, exactly, Mariam.
Too smart.
Extremely. You know Mariam.
She she and her man, sort of that. They're very deep. She helped me in school.
Yeah, I think I met her once.
Oh yeah.
She's the same person who handles your landlady, right?
Yes, exactly. See, so I'm drawn to people like that. So it might not necessarily be a relationship, but of course, even if it's a relationship, I still look at, because Tracy is an extremely intelligent human being. She knows about everything, doesn't know everything, but knows about almost everything. If you say out of the blue, mention a word, she has an idea what it means, and it helped me in a way. Right, and I'm more turned on to that than somebody clueless type of,
Don't worry.
Cool guys have been through a lot.
The experience and the wisdom is there.
Is there. Yeah.
For those who don't know what cougar is, it's a wild
Stephanie Bench.
It's an American.
You know what?
Yeah.
So the video, that's the person I was looking at.
Oh,
Make it happen.
No, this is serious.
Make it happen.
That's like prophecy.
When I saw Cougar, the
It's like
first person, the
prophecy.
image that came in my head was Stephanie.
Why?
I had.
Do we have another one?
No, we don't.
We don't have another one.
No,
She's
and
like
She's the best.
And I'm sure she'll be so glad to do it.
Oh, she'll
but it's
do
like
it.
a confirmation of what you're thinking about, so you don't have to let
Bro,
it go.
Halam,
Because
she'll
he's
do
just
it.
giving you a confirmation of what
Halam,
you're
she'll
thinking
do it.
about.
Crazy.
Yeah.
She'll do it.
Yeah.
So random when you say that. This be the person I'd look for.
Cyril Dede, imagine the
CNCM 3D. I watched the tips.
No, but this song is for her.
No, Halam, she go do it.
say-
I'm more than happy, bro.
I just want to put out the real meaning of cougar, please. It's a large American wildcat.
Oh,
please,
Plain
please,
tawny and grayish coat.
The National Geographic.
No, but the
Forget the
flesh.
National Geographic.
I
They
know,
talk
I'm gonna put the
about
National Geographic aside. All right, let's go to Sarkodie featuring Cranium. Okay.
Yes, Forever.
Forever.
Another great vibe. It's just summer vibes. He was in Ghana. He came for Rapaholic. We had a chance to hit the studio, and we came up with it. Yeah.
But so, I mean, for you, let me just be blunt and say this. I really don't go this hard, but let me just go hard on this one. Like how he went hard on some of his bars. These Nigerians are pushing to Chris Brown's and all these people. Sometimes Ghanaians feel like
Somebody actually tweeted that, why is Ye not on the album? I saw it on our...
Does it go back to explain
Yes, I've explained that from the beginning.
Yeah.
My industry is a bit tricky if you don't understand it. If you take your time to really understand how things go in the industry, you get to see how some certain things happen and some things don't happen. Personally, as Sarkodie, I weigh my options when I sign to a major. I feel like I could get the looks that you guys are going to be happy about, but personally, as Michael, I'm not going to be happy within me. And so it's not for everybody. I'm somebody who's hands-on. I read my own contracts. Though I'll have a lawyer go through it, I'll sit down, I'll have my meetings myself. I think you've seen me on a couple of occasions where I'm trying to sort things out myself. So I'm that person who is involved. So when I let go of that power, I think it can affect me mentally, no matter how good things are going. I just want to be in charge and want to be able to oversee every penny that's going out. I don't want to come back from making us say, give me a budget that I wasn't ready for, right? So all these things come with being on that big machinery. But also we have certain artists who don't want to deal with all of that, and they need that. It's also good for certain artists. So when you are under that umbrella, doing a feature, at this point, me doing a feature with Rihanna is worth nothing because I'm not still going to be able to find it easy to release anyways.
Because of the ties that you have to go through.
Exactly. Being on your own, there's too much. Bro, I told you, just beats. Let me put it out there. I was supposed to pay 130,000 for just one beat.
Wow. Is that cedis or dollars?
Dollars.
And that's I'm talking about normal. And in the industry, he knows. Yes, it goes all the way to $500,000 for production.
For beats?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you see, the problem is that he's saying beats, right? But when you say beats in international
production,
composer, production,
they wrote a lot of people who are taken from the 150.
Yeah,
somebody paid.
But Ghana, when we say beats, we just think MP3 or MP3 or something. No,
so it's a whole lot that goes into it when you want to go in on that lead.
So financing is one.
Yes. Yeah. So now, if you want to take that burden off, you need that machinery. Do I want it personally? No. That is the only reason.
Okay.
So personally, I don't want what comes with it. I've had a chance to read a lot of contracts on what I'm supposed to do and what I'm supposed to give away. I don't think my inner guts doesn't tell me that I have to do it. But I'm not saying it's wrong. I used to say it's wrong because I felt like, because I think it's wrong. But it's not wrong for somebody else. Somebody actually has a shot at one song and that's it. Such a person, I think if you do that, it's good for you. Because you take your money and you go and find some business and go and do.
And the cool part is they're saying the same thing Sina Soul that we are on that song. They're saying the same thing Sina Soul
about being a
said
senior
about the label.
Yes.
She also felt like the good things there, but the restrictions, no.
Bro, we are even going far to talking about big features. These features, do you know what I had to go through? I'm talking about my own boy, King Promise. I'm not putting anything out there, but and it's not wrong. He's under a structure. So how I got him to do Anajo is not the same way I got him to do this.
Wow.
Because things
Bro,
change.
if I tell you how much I have to put in to clear all these records, you'll be shocked.
So does it go to debunk that notion that we have that Sarkodie always jumps on a new trendy act, a new hot act? There's always that perception. I've heard it too many times. Oh, Sarkodie, I don't know, but
If you do this past 30 years, they'll find reasons why you're here. That's just what it is. And if that didn't come up, I should have actually felt bad that people are not actually trying to do science on why you're still here. Because that's the only reason. It's not because of anything. They want to find a logic on why you can still be relevant after a long time. So now we need to come up with stuff. And the funny thing is, most of these records that you hear me on that you think I'm jumping on somebody's record, I never reach out to these people.
Wow.
It's vice versa.
I don't normally, if I want to do a song, it's rare I'll think, this boy is the new hottest artist, I want to put him on. Big shouts to my superstar, Blacko. Blacko hit me up last minute of this project. Landlord, I have to be on Jamz.
Wow.
That's
I say,
nice.
put up.
Yes, Ghanaians will be saying that, that was the raining thing. So,
No, but you see, that's what I don't care about that because the truth is the truth. That's why, that's the only way I'm able to. In the beginning, I try to explain because I'm like, no, but is it the truth though? If it's not, then why do you have to
waste
bother about
energy
that?
on
Because
it?
I actually like it, the fact that they doubt. Because when they doubt something, that's how great the thing is.
You can prove them wrong.
Exactly, because they don't believe. No, I think.
but what do you think you have? I've seen how a lot of these youngsters eulogize you, like the highest, we know. It's a different thing if it's your fans, but I see other musicians, give you optimum respect. What do you think you do that causes them to be like, hi, I have to be on this guy's album. I have to be friends with him. I have to be a Sarkodie, person.
I think it's all about how your leadership skill is. I think I'm somebody who's able to contain a lot, and people feel like some of my colleagues even tell me that you don't know how we feel because we get a lot of hate. I'm like, listen, I'm also one of the hated people in the industry. It's just how I react to it. So now I keep getting what I want to get, and that's when you come on my timeline. All you hear is King Saga, you're this, you're that. But guess what? I get a lot of insults 24/7, and I understand life that nobody owes you anything. Blacko doesn't owe me anything. If I say, Blacko, can I see you Saturday? I have to make sure if he wants to come or he wants to make it. A lot of people hold grudges with people because of what you expect. I don't. Yeah. And I think if I don't like what you're doing, I either don't listen to it or I don't focus on it. But I don't think if you want to speak about anything, it should be something negative. And that's not being a hypocrite. It's just naturally, if I like something, I'm going to speak. If I don't,
you move away.
I just move away. And I think people are drawn to that energy of respect that you have for them, and I just get that vice versa.
Just for education purposes, talking about these clearances, so that we can learn from what does it go through, like, in your little experience, like how does it work out? Because I'm just wondering, like, it's call, they say send an email proposal.
Thinking about it, it's not like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from how I deal with my business because I make the decisions by myself. I said it not too long ago. If Miss G gets me on a song, she wouldn't have to go through stress. I just have to say,
okay, release it.
So I thought that is how it's supposed to be for everybody else. But then I get to understand, no, these guys have been invested in. I invest in myself, so I make the decision. But then they have been invested in. Somebody has to recoup. So they don't have the luxury to necessarily say, let's just release them. No, you are your landlord, your highest, I love you, but I'm in a situation, so we have to solve it the way the structure is, and I respect that. So am I ready to go through the stress? Yeah, if it's worth it, yes, I will do it. If I weigh what is happening, like, nah.
Have you had any, what are some of these fine details that you've experienced, is it some MOUs, pay money, contracts?
Yes, it's a lot of money, and then what they want, as in percentages, and sometimes to me, I don't think it makes sense to me business wise. So that would be the only hurdle. But it's a standard thing in the industry. It's not like Alien. It's always been there. Just that in the beginning, African artists were not signed. That's why we're able to gel easily, because David would just say release it. Waze would say release it. Now it's not the same. Yeah. Now we can do a record actually, it's fun when I know I'm signing you assigned because we don't have to deal with the hustle. Because when me and you do, and you're on Sony, I'm on Universal, we finish the record and they will deal with
the rest.
I was in Paris and I had a session, and there's a big superstar called Agnes Mo. I forgot where she's from. Big following, and she was doing a song with a rapper in Paris. Creative people are doing a record, and you have the business people sitting at the back counting the bars.
Wow.
So now, so this artist did.
So her contribution goes from contributor to collaborator to feature.
So all they have to do, just do whatever, smoke your weed or whatever you want to do. Get high, drink and do, but we have to sort this out. So that is how the structure is. So if you are not in that league, yes, the person can mess with you on artistic level, but when we are done,
let's
we
talk.
have
Yeah,
to
the
talk
business
exactly.
But that's not to say that these people are not taking anything from you. It's not to say that.
No.
Yeah.
There's no way we can promise going to charge.
So-
Oh, they are not taking Oxlade. All of them, they don't have
No.
anything. They didn't take anything.
No.
So what about the split shit?
So that's what I'm saying. That's where the business
That's where the
comes in.
business comes in, okay.
I'm saying they are not taking because I know it's not from them. Even if I'm paid, I'm not going to disclose that. If I'm paying money, I'm not paying it to Oxlade. You know, there's a structure that has to be sorted. And that's more of the business side of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Sarkodie, with everything that you've seen with these artists who are signed onto a label and with people who have to handle them, and yourself as an individual artist, as someone who is on his own, will there ever be a time that you'd want to sign onto a label so that
This is great. We were having this conversation upstairs right now.
Yeah, so they take the burden off of you, the financial burden, because it's easier, right?
Yes, yeah.
Over the years, you've put in
Great by
that-
yourself.
Exactly, you've done
Yes.
everything by yourself. You've put in the money, literally blood, sweat, and tears, and money, right? Would you ever have to rethink that option of having to just sign so that it eases your financial burden a bit?
Exactly. I think everybody wants the best scenario. Unfortunately, in business, it's not really the best scenario necessarily for you. It's about what is on the table and what the other party wants, right? So going back to what I said, I don't think it's for everybody. As sad as it could sound like, oh, so we're never going to get Sarkodie to do this and that. I'm looking at myself as a person that am I going to be able to deal with? Because, listen, I'm not moved by anything. I can do a song. Somebody disclose a song that I did with somebody that I don't want to talk about. And I've been sitting on this record for like 3 or 4 years. And I'm not moved by it because there's a lot that goes into it and I don't want to even bother myself. So business-wise, you have done your investment for about 10 years. So if I come in and I want to come on, there should be a certain level of partnership that I should come in with.
Right.
But then what I'm trying to give in return of with your partnership, you still feel it's not worth the work you've put in. So that's the decision you have to make. That's all I'm talking about. It's not like I don't want to sign. I have to.
But you're looking
to
at
be worth it.
partnerships.
Exactly. And just to be blunt, in my industry, he will tell you that whole partnership is, if you take 1,000 artists, you'll probably find just 2 who are able to have that leverage in that room. You can't sit with somebody who have built $1 billion company talking about partnership at this point. So just be logic about it. Go in, get the deal, get the money, get the fame, maybe go invest in something.
I have a question around the...
All right, I don't want you guys to time, guys. Look, I just want to ask you finish.
Give me 60 seconds.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So, bro, I mean, you are a pillar in the creative industry, right? Big pillar. And we're always talking about investment and how people need to bring outside money. Look how the Nigerians are doing it, blah, 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 blah. I want to know from you, putting in all this money, you are playing the long game. You understand that as an independent act, you're going to recoup it over time. But how has it been getting the funding to invest, one? Right? And then secondly, your growth in the game, looking at how much we've been investing in the Ghanaian creative industry, especially music. Talent, is limitless. But the money to keep unearthing these talents and building these same systems to create Sarkodies in the next 20, 30 years, how have you seen that happening? And what can we learn from your journey?
I think I became this persona of not agreeing to sign by default, as in I was in a situation where I didn't have a choice. Then I had to flip my own money. Because, mind you, I didn't start with this mentality. I always wanted to be signed. I went to have meetings outside and all of these things. I wasn't getting an opportunity at that point. Then I was pushed to pay for my first video from, I always remember, big shout out to, I think it was Miss Ghana or Miss Malika. That was my first paycheck. And I paid for Baby with that money. So I've been used to flipping. I sometimes starve myself just to keep my music going. You know, I'll put everything I have into the music, and that's how come I've been able to do it for this long. But it's not in everybody to be able to do that. That's why I don't want to. Maybe I was supposed to do this way. That's why I didn't get the chance for anybody to come in the beginning. So, yes, we lack the other side of that. That is a unique. It's like a unicorn in the industry for me to do that. I don't think I want all the artists coming up to do what I did. Yeah. I don't have to necessarily go through that because I did it because I didn't have a choice. Then it built this Sarkodie. But we need structures because certain artists are supposed to be just artists taken care of. They have super talent. They can be superstars here, but we need the funding to be able to support them. They don't have to go and do shows and miss you pay and then they'll go and use the 2,000 Ghana to we need the structures, and business people are yet to really understand the full potential of the creative industry. Yeah. But at this point, that's what we try to do. I have a lot of meetings that has nothing to do with Sarkodie. It's more about these type of conversations and try to convince these people on how great an opportunity is. Then we can also benefit from them investing.
Very interesting.
Thanks.
Let's go to Over Me, Sina Soul. Yes. Beautiful. She made it onto the top 10.
Yes, beautiful vocals. I think one of my favorite female vocals in the industry at this point. And I had no female on there, right? Just her.
I was going to say that at every point in time, Sarkodie makes a point to have one female. Is it that Ifya, Sister Ifya? Yeah. And every time you say that's my favorite female vocalist at that point, because I remember you said that about Sister Ifya when you had her on.
Exactly, but I think Ifya has been back to back because I think favorite of all time. Yes, that's Ifya. I'll always have to go back. We actually have a song. The sound didn't fit on this project. I'm going to release it. Sina Soul, obviously one of the best vocalists from this part of the world, and I had few records from her, and I was sold just by listening to it. And then I sent it to her. She sent it back, killed it. Wow. One of my favorite in the project too. Yes,
she's good. So that's Over Me. That's also another Amapiano.
No, I don't know how to call that. It's just great good music. Yeah,
feel good music. Hips don't lie. Hips don't lie. Joe Boy.
Yes, Joe Boy. Same thing. That's the same day I recorded 1 million CDs in Nigeria. So it was 2 sessions. That and then that. You know, that's
Ing Boy, Joe Boy.
Yeah. What is the Hips Don't Lie? What is the song? What is the song about? Like
Hips Don't Lie.
Beautiful Woman.
Yeah, literally talking about
hip not lying.
Yes. Yes, and Joe Boy killed it too.
But how are you able, like you said, you recorded these two in a day or within some hours? How are you able to sustain the energy and not even forget the lyrics and take some lyrics from maybe what you did with Ing Boy and come and put it in Joe Boy because you know?
So you know what I did that day? What I explained earlier on. I didn't write all the verses on the same at the spot. What I did was I knew they needed my kickstart to get them gingered. And trust me, I now understand why Nigerian artists come up with some serious bangers. They create an energy around the studio when you're recording. That was a session where I had a bunch of people, sorry to say, most of them were drunk. And everything I was doing sounded good to them.
Wow.
So, and the beats,
hype man.
Because when I'm alone recording, it's different. When I'm alone, I tend to do a lot of mood music, you know, maybe love. You're just alone. But when you have a party going on, like if we set up a vibe here and there's I'm a piano playing, I'll come up with lyrics that suits the mood. And that's what happened with these 2 records. And then I did lines that could lead them, and then I came back home, cleared it, and then took my time and wrote all the verses.
Yeah. We have spoken about the Black Sheriff, the story of him hitting you up and countryside. Okay.
That's you need to ask Blacko. I don't know where he came up with. They said they will see you for the countryside.
Yeah.
They go follow man, they go back. He said like you guys go the dance, but you go see me for the countryside.
So it means that
when you relax, you know it's flipped in the Western world. When the people have money, they have the countryside on his estate, his horses. Look at Rick Ross. Rick Ross has a horse. He has a.
That means where I don't get money like that. Mentally, you know why? Because I don't know, for some reason I don't want a property in Accra. I don't know why I keep thinking about Axim and
really?
I went further Ebri.
The Pokrom side there.
In the weather,
In the valleys.
Mountains there, and I told them I don't want the land that they have cleared. I want the trees and everything on there.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why I keep thinking about.
That's Richmond's,
Richmond
So
mentality.
countryside
Because it's like, yes, you
money
pollute
game.
it is.
Buy the account.
It's not for you.
No, but
Your house
tell me
or
about your
you
thoughts. Okay,
see
sorry.
Osu and things.
Talking about countryside
Yeah.
being the title being influenced by Blacko, does it mean that some of the titles were
Yes.
actually influenced by the people
A
that
lot
you
of
work
them.
with?
A lot
Oh,
of them.
okay.
Because the choruses is normally by the person that sang. So they will come up with a word in there. Then I would use
Zach, what's the general take about Blacko? Looking at him and
You
looking
love
at
him
you
too much.
10, 15 years ago.
So I'm not going to single out just Blacko. I think I'm a sucker for Ghanaian talent because I am a Ghanaian and I've been out there and I've seen that when I'm always out there, it's always almost like just me. When I go to the BET, it was once that I was with Stone Boy and trust me, that was a blast. It was me, Stone.
That trip. Remember?
Yeah. But you see, okay, tell them how that was a vibe because now I can zone into my boys and be comfortable at the BET. But then, of course, Nigerians are our brothers and sisters, but we all know that there's still that war there. So I can only have a conversation with Wiz for a couple minutes and we have
and
to.
that's it.
Everybody has to find their way. But then I will always end up with my boys and that's it. But then if it's a pack, it's way stronger. So that's why when I see anybody who is a Ghanaian who has the potential, yes, I wish that person we could rally
Behind
the person and we can have a lot more of that. So that's how it started for me with Blacko. But of course, that guy is extremely talented and he's doing sounds that you don't have to be necessarily a Ghanaian or whatever. I think he's been able to find a sound that cuts
The balance.
the balance. Exactly.
Now, you did mention that you don't want to single out Blacko, but I'm going to single out Blacko because I have to do it. In your freestyle, right?
Yes.
You did mention, you did
Mama,
single
Mama,
out,
Baby,
exactly, you did single
Prophet.
out Blacko right there,
Yeah.
right? Does he in any way speak to you in
Remind
connection to energies, right? When it comes to how he's vibrant and he's exuberant with his music, right? And then how, he sang about people having to suppress him
Exactly.
to an extent.
It's a space that every true artist go through. I think when you come in, it's about the fact that you survived. It's a shock that it's hard to get over, because you knew how it was like a dream. Until I say, until from Tema to Accra more. I used the Spinters Road, and then Nipana Mesha, and I got that the person was gone. Right? So like hard situations, playing my project to people they never believed in it, and finally you are here, and not just here, part of it. You are the one at the point when you came out,
Bro, there's a day go Kayen. They saw in studio. Yeah, I have the utmost respect.
The way
for
I
Sark,
calmed that place.
They saw in studio. We got to JSO studio. We had a booking, and I think Jay didn't want to let Sark in before our booking. So we got there. Sark was outside. Sark greeted nicely. Oh, afternoon, blah 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 blah. We went to do our thing. We're doing some ads and stuff. We did our things and left. And then he came to ask. He came to ask us what we were doing. We told him blah blah blah. He was just waiting to rap.
Yeah.
Charlie, everywhere I go, they talk this story.
Yeah.
They were just waiting to rap and to see that and to see Landlord today.
Exactly,
Like,
the journey.
bro, massive,
And I
massive.
wish every artist can go through. It's not easy. I don't think I had a bluept or I had a way to do it. I just was able to survive, maybe by luck or just I was lucky. So then I always want to see that. And so when I see that same thing, I'm like, God, please don't let nothing touch this. Can this keep
make the clear
Can
route
this
for
keep
him.
exactly? Can this keep going? And I think it's harder at this
feel you.
time because this is a social media dominated time
Yeah.
where your flaws are documented. I had to
And
have
opinions
all these
count.
things you were talking about. You guys didn't see it. But Blacko has to live this on camera.
Live.
So it's harder, and that's why. And I'm single out because, of course, he's carrying the mantle at this point. You don't want to lie about it.
He's the one for
exactly.
now. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear.
All right, guys,
It's so
I'm
comfortable
pleading
to
with
hear
you guys because-
admit, even as the highest, that he's carrying the mantle
Yeah.
at this point. A lot of people are living in denial. How easy is it for you to accept that at this point, this is the hottest thing? I'm not the one as hot as he is at this point.
Because that's just logic. I don't know why that's hard for a human being to understand. It doesn't take nothing from what you do. I'm still working. I'm still doing whatever I'm doing. But it's just a natural thing where it's like a stage performance. When I perform for 2 hours, the next name that you hear that the person is coming out, the cheer is a bit different. It's just what it is. But then when you stay on, it happens again. And then the next artist comes on. So I don't think I don't know why that should be an issue.
Mercedes has dropped their new 2022. Right? I'm telling you that the 2012 one.
That you are driving.
The 2012 one.
And the
way Cyril pulled his Mercedes for me yesterday. It's different. Anyway, we need to be fair to our Ask Sark hashtag when the questions coming in. But let's just touch on the last one real quickly, and then let's go into the questions are a lot, and we can't just let them go.
I love this last one.
Yeah, so Benson Buju, formerly Buju, has got a track with Ladipo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the big song Feeling. Are we getting that vibe here?
I don't know, because I don't really go for that when I feature people. I don't think I featured him because of anything he's done. I just feature him because I think he's good. So I'll bring him into my world and what I want him to do. And that song, also one of the productions that I was involved in, came up with the melody. Big shouts to TSB. And he did his thing. It's probably the only record on there that I kind of like see it close to a bit hip-hop-ish. That and Black Sharif. But then this one is something I see a Sarkodie standing on stage rapping.
Does this happen when we saw him with you?
Yes.
I think
The
during
jollof.
during the December feel.
That is the trick.
Oh, you give them jollof.
You jollof. You see, I started doing this before Khaled. And I DJ, you see, DJ Khaled do one, but right now we all the toxic. But I started this and giving jollof to all these guys when they come.
Let's spend the next 10 minutes quickly talking about some of the questions we have here, and we can just be quick on the answers. Some of them we've already answered, so we can just skip them. I mentioned name. So Kwabna Official says Ghanaians and Sark Nation are waiting to hear a strictly hip-hop rap album which features the big guys we all get such from him. Hashtag Ask Sark. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah,
strictly hip-hop album.
Yeah,
I think you said that.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that.
Says please ask will we get videos for all the tracks? Yes, we answered that just in case he missed out. Yes, we're getting videos for almost all of them, right? Videos for almost all of them. Yes. Says it's been long since we heard something from him, and okay, it's just already been spoken of. He's here with us. What is the promotional strategy for the album? The Prof, aka Nananya Micha, is asking.
I love that. I would definitely want to be outside, because these are the type of songs that is not limited to your fan base. These are great music that they don't have to be a fan of you to love it. So I think I have to be everywhere. I'm leaving for London on Wednesday. A lot of activations out there. Then I might do the States before I come back and get ready for Rapaholic.
Rapaholic is coming. I forgot about that. Okay, this one here says
whilst you're ready to grab your question, there's a question that is lingering, and of course if we don't ask that one, we are in trouble.
All right, please, I just want to ask, fairness to
once you're getting those questions ready,
it is ready. I'm bleeding because we have just 10 minutes. So when will he finally get clearance for the features? Okay, no, we've already spoken about that.
We've already answered lots of the questions.
He's asking if he will be doing more singing when he grows old, because I know he's good at it. Okay. I don't know about that. He says, let's see, Asak, why does he not like shooting videos for his album? He's shooting all.
That's why I said go through. Once I'm asking, go through the question.
About Global Citizen concerts. What's coming? G, I'm coming. G, I'm leaving. 9:58 for you. It says about the Global Citizen concert. Well, the rest of the question I won't even ask about it because it's not really necessary. But let me ask. This is coming from Mr. Bracco. But let me just alter it and ask about Global Citizen.
Yeah, that was
one of the most iconic performances that we've.
That was a good platform.
The experience you want to share with us real quickly. There are a lot of questions about Global Citizen here.
Yeah, so that stage I think is like any professional being given your best professional tools to work with, and you do your best. Like I said, I wanted to come to the studio. Sorry for you guys, I like you, but I came here for the pictures. So, the setup looks good. So I was moved, I was drawn by that first, and then I knew, it's going to be great. So that first, so as an artist, the tools that makes you look like a superstar is what Global Citizen presented. They came to Ghana, but then the production felt like I was somewhere. I could be anywhere in the world, and then it looked good. So it could be a regular Sarkodie performance. I keep saying that we have been to the BET. When you're sitting there, you watch them. It's like we have performers and performers. I can count with this finger. I don't think I would be done with this. In America, few artists actually perform.
Yeah,
everyone else just moving. But then the stage looks so good that you just
makes it pop.
Such a person from the because the setup doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying no shade to anybody. Big shouts to Sadiq on Wonderland. That's the type of stage I'm talking about.
I saw you with your phone.
And I was having fun. So I think if all artists can have that, and that's what Global Citizen just schooled us on. Yeah.
Shall I come
Miss
in?
Tia, I'm leaving you on that
Okay,
one.
so
real quickly.
the conversation that lingered a bit for me is you and the media. I want you to tell me, do you think we don't like you? You think the media doesn't like you? What do you
think that.
So why do we always have the perception that is it that anytime the media does, and the media too will come and say, especially with your tweets, your interview,
Yes.
even though you had said it in the song, it became a huge conversation on social media. What do you think it's the relationship between you and the media? Where are we not getting it right? And what is the disconnect for you?
How does what I said, you personally, how did that make you feel?
Oh, I wrote that it feels that, for me, I think that it's just for you say, grow. Don't stay the same place. I think I tweeted and said that that's my understanding of it.
I was waiting for a different answer. I wanted you to be pissed.
Oh, no, I tweeted about it, actually.
No, so a lot of people that were pissed, it's a taste of, but just like a taste of your own medicine sometimes. Because when artists listen to the media, we don't hear, okay, there could be a single Sarkodie situation, but normally they say Ghanaian artist, right? And artists have to swallow that. And I think we have to get to a point where we need to understand our partnership as media, and then there's no father and son situation. It's all of us working together. So I think don't freak out when Sarkodie Shatawale says something, because you say stuff 24/7. And whether true or not is what your observation has been. So it was just basically me talking about the fact that I think I can also, I accepted. I said artists have stuff to do, same as you. You know, you can't just, because it's easy. That's why I said in the beginning, I don't try to like criticize too much because I'm on the field and I know how it works. And Jay Foley, it will be difficult. I'll be shocked if I hear certain conversations from Jay Foley, because he's out there with us. He sees what's happening, so he knows how things work. But I don't like it when some people also would not move and do the due diligence on how the ecosystem actually works. That it's not just the fact that it's easy to point the celebrity as the one not doing it. It's a whole ecosystem. When I do shows I did the O2 Indigo because Abrantia had a dream, and Abrantia was connected, and he had the Indigo locked because he was working with Capital.
Okay.
So he thought about his person, put me in there. So imagine 10 Abrantias in that situation. Yes, Sarkodie is doing something amazing. Serial is here. Then Serial connects it. But then sometimes we might miss the opportunity because Blacko is doing a lot, and maybe our people are not in a certain position to put him to lock that thing down. And other people are also looking at their people to sort them out. So now you want Blacko to have all this situation, and then you want it to just go away, and then you come and complain and go like, Blacko didn't do this, and Sarkodie and Koye say that.
The teamwork.
He's out there. So I'll be on the BET stage. Big shouts to Foresight. He tries his best wherever that we are, pulls up to get his content and tell the story as it is. You can't sit here and look like a fan. I'm not saying it's bad that you don't go, but then try to limit how you want to speak about it. That's all I was saying. Sometimes we wash our dirty laundry outside, and then it tends up to hit us back. Because the way we speak about it, it's a turn off to a lot of people to even want to join it. I'm not saying we don't have flaws, we don't have issues, but sometimes you have to be. But I said that just deliberately to get you guys to feel.
Sometimes for pinching them.
Exactly how it feels like. Because artists, I will be in the car listening to then a Ghanaian artist, a Ghana artist, a Ghana artist, Ghana artist. This is how we feel.
Were you surprised by the feedback?
No, I actually wanted it to be more. It was too. It wasn't that deep. You guys should. Because I've said it already.
In your song.
I've said it already, and then I knew people freaked out. But the reason why, because it's not necessarily, because I know it's not everybody. I know Miss G will be doing her work. I know she will be doing it. But sometimes when you generalize it, the conversation starts. Because that's the same thing you guys do. We have to swallow it. I don't think people should get mad and go like, oh, Miss G, I can't. I'm pretty sure Miss G has had something that she has to say that I don't agree. But Miss G, I don't believe in that. I believe the truth is the truth. What she said is what she said. So if I've said something and you get mad, you might have to check yourself, not me. You know, that's
okay. We have just 5 minutes left. Please, let's pick these 4 major topics and just use a sentence to describe to get opinions. First one. So Sarkodie in national issues. Let's talk about it real quickly.
So you've been quiet.
Yeah, people have been saying
the
that.
Economy.
My mentions full up. I just know one topic.
Yeah, plenty.
So now when you play back, when I did masses, inflation, doom, so who told me to do it? So and the funny thing is, you might think you're doing a good thing trying to get me to do. You're actually interfering in creative feel. Because now when I do it, I told you I don't do stuff sitting down and thinking, oh, Ghanaian said I should talk about the economy. That would not be authentic. I would say stuff that I don't mean. It has to happen organically. That's what happened with it. And it's still relevant at this point. Whatever I said, the inflation hasn't changed. So going to say it again, these same people will say,
Yeah.
So, and I don't explain it because Nipa no T, they are listening. It's 2 years in Ghana. We have political years and regular years. And the political years dominate the country.
But what about people who are reading meaning to it that is because he said Anatwa, so that's why you're not able to speak?
And guess what?
He
That
was
same
rhyming.
line, what I said, I say he should trust, so I still stand by it because I think I benefited from free education directly, and I have the right to say I endorse that because this is directly. My mom has, I have these girls who have been supporting her. First, I'm not saying it's much, but just the fact that you're not even hearing that, getting that call,
The easiest
it
of the
came
burden.
from that place where, and I was specific about what I was endorsing. Of course, I knew the line, because that's the creative part of me, and I need the whatever that comes with it, but that's what I stand by, and I still stand by it. But of course, the country is worse. We are in serious crisis. Go for bread.
Let's talk real quick about investments real quickly. I just have 2 minutes left. Are we putting in the culture or the how how we are as Ghanaians? Yeah, I think we spoke about investments. Yeah.
But how are you able to protect your content from getting leaked?
I was just leaked. You don't notice? I'm actually.
They say
When the man said the thing is on the link,
They say you do it strategically.
I'm trying to avoid. I think you might attract this because all my previous projects leak a day or two before. I literally have tried not to go on Twitter because I feel like I might be shocked.
So what have you done differently
I
with
can
this
tell
one?
you it's not leaked yet.
You know what happens because the time difference is different. It comes out in certain
Areas.
and then people download it, then they kind of give it to Ghanaians.
Oh, okay.
Bloggers are so.
So what have you done differently with this one that hasn't leaked? You've not
security
done
guards,
anything.
land guards there.
I think you can do the regular stuff as in before it comes out, but you can't control when it comes out in somewhere that the hours is a bit
Ahead of us. Okay.
So let me tell you one time that Sarkodie, but time is up though. When Sarkodie did some rushing with that, I felt it. It will beat you. So this woman who was coming to tell him that Charlie, we have to go. Like we really have to go going. So he was eating. I would my woman. Anyway, let's wrap it up with your last words on the Jamz album. Very important.
Yes, I would like to say a big thank you to Ghanaians and the media, whether you believe it or not.
We love you.
Thank you guys so much for the support. I think I've had a good run. It's not been easy, but staying positive and also finding people to still believe in what you're doing is amazing. Not everybody gets a chance to even come back the second time. I'm still here over 10 years and still matter. I want to thank the fans. I really do appreciate it. I know I say these things and it's like every artist has to say, but I really mean this. There's a lot of things that I've achieved that directly people told me is because of your fan base and the people that love you. So the traction I get keeps projecting the brand Sarkodie. And thank you guys. So you guys are about to enjoy. Make sure you are in a very good space when you're about to listen to this project. I will recommend a long drive, whether you have somewhere to go or not. It's going to come at midnight. Just get in your car and just take... do you do that midnight drive? I do that most times.
Oh, really?
Because when I drive in town, I have to,
Hey, Zach.
Traffic is a problem. So I wait when all traffic is like down, around 1, 2, then I just drive in town, just play music. That would be good for this project, or a good settings, and you guys to take trips and go on the ocean.
Sarkodie, you're mentioning your fan, one of your biggest fans, Jason
Lenny, I'm not even allowing you. Lenny,
we out.
Thank you so much, Sarkodie. All right.